Welcome, and thank you for joining me for this introduction to the policy updates for the reunification assessment in SDM version 3.5, coming out later in 2023. The headline is the current policy has involved doing this assessment every 6 months as required by Division 31, but the process of assessing timeliness has been connected to whether the assessment was done 65 days prior to the case plan update. That policy is going away, and the updated policy is simply that the reunification assessment should be done every 6 months from the time of removal. And if case plan progress has taken place, uh, we recommend the assessment also be done every 90 days to check for readiness for the family to be restored. These updates are planned to go live in November of 2023. Why are we doing this policy update? In consultation with the California core team for structured decision making, our data here at Evident Change shows that for families that entered the system, their children entered foster care in 2021. Over the course of work with those families, only 19% of those families had, those children actually, had a reunification assessment completed within 6 months. 27% of children had an assessment done between 6 and 9 months, and more than half of all children in California had no reunification assessment completed at all, or it was done after 9 months. We also shared with the California core team that completion rates across race and ethnicity are quite uneven, and you can see that American Indian, Alaskan Native families and children are the least likely to have reunification assessments done, and all of the other races and ethnicities vary somewhat in completion rates. Why do we think this is important? Some research and foundational information about the reunification assessment has informed the discussion that we've had about this policy change. First, just a reminder that the purpose of the reunification assessment is to help build consistency and equity in the decision to either reunify children to their families, continue reunification services, or to pursue a permanency alternative. Two studies jump out at us when we think about whether this reunification assessment is worth pursuing and having completed. 2005, a Michigan study was published where children in counties who implemented the structured decision-making reunification assessment, and it was done every 90 days, achieved permanency rates at higher rates than a comparison county cohort. They were also more likely to return home, and they were no more likely to reenter foster care than in the control or comparison counties. In our own California validation study back in 2010, we found that children are less likely to suffer subsequent harm or reentry to foster care when the recommendations of the reassessment, the reunification assessment, are followed. What does that data look like? Here you can see from pre-evaluation to post-evaluation, which was a 15-month time frame, comparison counties declined somewhat in the rate of overall permanency that children in those counties were able to accomplish. And in the pilot counties, the rate of overall permanency was climbed to excess of the comparison counties during this study. Additionally, while reunification rates with families of origin dropped significantly during this 15-month study period, pilot counties managed to maintain a fairly flat rate of reunification to their families of origin during the study And so more of them were able to go home successfully than in the comparison counties. Here in California, you'll see that the 2010 revalidation study showed that when all three aspects of the reunification assessment were satisfied, the risk was appropriate and low or moderate, visitation was adequate, and safety assessment was either safe with the plan or safe, the rate of children re-entering foster care was 11.9%. When one of those components or none of them were satisfied or one of them was missing, those children re-entered foster care at a rate of 18.5%. So significantly higher risk and greater incidence of abuse or neglect and re-entry to foster care when the reunification assessment components were not taken into account or satisfied. We have a few things new in safe measures that can help navigate and help us move this reunification assessment use forward. A few of those that I want to share with you. First of all, your dashboard at any level in safe measures allows you to subscribe to alerts. And one of the new alerts that we've put in place over this last year is reunification reassessments that are due in 90 days, 60 days, or 30 days. And you can set the frequency for how often you want those email alerts for when reunification assessments are coming up. This gives you an opportunity to organize your work in advance of when it's due and get ahead of reunification assessments. The next thing that is available to all of us in California on the Safe Measures site is in SDM measures for all cases, there's the SDM overall risk level. And using this report gives us an opportunity to see that there's 30% of children in all of California whose current risk level is low or moderate. And this might be an indication that a child and family team meeting or some safety planning could potentially either help those children get home sooner, or if they're in family maintenance, perhaps have their services case closed. Finally, at a county level, every county in California is afforded and can design their county measures dashboard. And here you can have the reunification assessment completion measure show up as one of your key performance indicators. Clicking on that assessment brings us to this report that'll show us either in compliance view or the all data view how many have been completed on time, how many are overdue, have not been completed, and how many are pending their first reunification assessment within the first 6 months of foster care. We want to thank you for viewing this informational video about the policy updates to the reunification assessment. Please email us at info@evidentchange.org or reach out to your regional training academy for further support and instruction on the version 3.5 of the structured decision-making system.